Foundation myths of Korea. The emergence and predominance of Dangun from the late 19th century and redefining Korea.
So from this point, we're going to examine what Dangun's role and the myth of Dangun plays in the construction of modern Korean nationalism and modern Korean identity.
Who is Dangun?
To do this, we have to go back to the late 19th century. And this was beginning in 1876 when Korea started to make the transition from the pre-modern to the modern period. This began with the Ganghwa Treaty. The Ganghwa Treaty was an unequal treaty that was imposed upon Korea by Japan. And this took place in 1876. And in this treaty, Korea, which had previously enforced an isolation policy, was now forced to open up 3 of its ports, one in Busan, one in Incheon, and one on the northeast coast in Wonsan. And so with this opening of Korea, we see that there are a wave of changes that occurred. During this time, as Korea is transitioning from the pre-modern to the modern period, we see that in Korea, it becomes essential for Korea to be able to define itself and define exactly what it means to be Korean. Because this is a time when we have the beginnings of the construction of the Korean nation, or definitions of what the Korean nation is. We see that there were multiple attempts at reforms, and the largest program of reforms occurred from 1894 to 1896, called the Kabul Reforms. And through these reforms, Koreans tried to establish nationalism, egalitarianism, and modern capitalism. Nationalism through defining what the Korean nation was, egalitarianism through many social reforms, and modern capitalism by reforming commerce and the economy. But the question was, how could Korea reform and preserve its independence at the same time? And for many Korean intellectuals, the key was education. So we have a modern newspaper that began to be published in 1896. This was called The Independent, or the Dongnip-Shinmun. It was published purely in the Korean alphabet, or Hangul, so that anybody could read it. It didn't matter if you were old, young, male, female, educated, uneducated. Hangul is very easy to learn, and so they decided to publish this in order to spread ideas about modern concepts of nationalism, democracy, and humanitarianism. As Koreans were starting to redefine what it meant to be Korean, we see that there was a shift from a focus on Yangban elite identity that was based on a shared Confucian culture, so a culture that was solidly based on the Confucian classics and Confucian learning. Whereas during this time, the focus shifted to Korea. So what did it mean to be Korean and to learn Korean? So in the late 19th century, we see the beginnings of the creation of a Korean nation with an emphasis on Dangun and the Dangun myth. Because through the Dangun myth, the concept of a pure race or pure Korean blood could be emphasized, since through Dangun, we all share a common blood and ancestry. So the shift on Dangun to Dangun occurs, and then a de-emphasis or neglect of Kija.
These are the keywords for this class. Dangun, Giza, Miman, Identity, Korea.